Here we go. Now we got it. Yo, Josh, I'm here with Josh Waters. I had to look up
Yeah.
where you were from. You're from Mississippi, but it's
Yep.
specifically Haiti. How you say it?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Hattiesburg. Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
There
He
we
told me
go.
Hattiesburg, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna look this up because the other day I so happened to tell an artist, so you're from here, and he's like, no, here is in here, and I was like,
Ah.
I knew that, but yeah.
You had to play that one off.
I had to play. No, actually, I couldn't because it was on live, so I just had to go with the punches. I was like,
Heard
okay.
that.
I hope I don't see in the messages somebody don't know geography.
Yeah, folks get mad when you mess up their hometown.
Seriously, no, and I totally get it, but there's just certain things that
Yeah.
he was from Haiti, and then it was a town in Haiti, and apparently everybody knows the town but me.
I would have been on your side. I wouldn't have known either. So it's all good.
So, Josh Waters, I'm so happy to be with you here today. I really, really want to start it off with my classic question with, where did the love for music start for you?
The love started, I would say early on. So my mother, she was a vocalist. She still is, but growing up, she used to sing at they had they would show these like film recordings of local talent early in the morning at like 7 in the morning. And my mom, they would choose her. It's either they ran out of people to do it or my mama was just that good. One of the two. But they would always just choose my mama. So I can remember like waking up before school. And to me, it was a big deal seeing my mom on TV, you know what I'm saying, singing. So I think that was that. My brother was a musician. He's a drummer. So growing up in the church singing all the time. So the love was always there in terms of actually trying to pursue artistry. Around like the age of 13 or 14 was my first time getting in the studio. And, hearing myself after recording was really what did it for me. Like that feeling of hearing myself come out of the speakers and the feeling that the record actually, it was a dope song for a 14-year-old that it gave me. I was addicted and hooked since then. So yeah, like 10 years now.
Wow, I love your energy. You're just super, like, besides being genuine, you know what you're talking about. And I love that.
Nah, respect.
So your song was amazing at 14 years old, or you being a little
I like
cocky?
Hey, nah, I'll be realistic. I wouldn't say amazing, but for a 14-year-old, I think it was dope. I think so, yeah.
That's fire though, to actually be able to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That to me, I'm pointing that out because that's the start of who you are now. You know what I'm saying? Hearing that and feeling that confidence and feeding off of that confidence. I love the fact that you have a family background of music. I could imagine. So you didn't wake up to the birds singing. You woke up to your mom singing.
Yeah. I think she kind of put the birds out of business. It's like, yeah, that was dope though.
I love that. Okay, so your start of everything was meeting Willpower, or you did a little bit of music before that?
Yeah, so my start, which is crazy actually, I've never been asked that. My start, like I said, I was about 14 years old. I had this cousin who she used to rap locally, and she brought me to the studio with her a couple times. And finally,
you had all the fields around you, rap, drum, sing.
Yeah, my cousin, like I had this cousin, man, shout out to Miss Smurf, like what Megan and them are doing right now. Back in like 06, she was on that, but it was like, even though we had the little Kims and the Trinas, especially in Mississippi, they kind of looked down on her like, what are you doing? And to see it how it is now is kind of crazy. But anyway, back then she would go to the studio and bring me with her and would just allow me to like play around on the mic, cutting different stuff. And one summer in the country, I had this cousin who had like this little studio set up. And he was like, yo, if you come back next summer, it was during the summer. He like, come back in 2 weeks. And if you got a record, I'll let you record it. And so when he did that, that was my initial, like, I'm doing this. Hey, Mom, I just want to go to college to march in the band. I already know I'm going to do music type shit. You know what I mean? So when I did that, he also had access to this, like, Southern Soul artist that was fairly local. He's pretty big in Southern Soul. His name is Calvin Richardson. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Calvin Richardson or not, but I was like 16 when Calvin would go out on the road. They would let me come open up for shows that wasn't in clubs. If it would be like at a convention center type vibe, I was a kid, but they would let me come out and open. They would pay me like $120 after the show. So it's like,
pay you?
Yeah, bro. So it's like, that was kind of what started. And then over time, I went to college, dropped out, went home and worked for a little while. I ended up forming a relationship with Big Crit. He's a rapper.
That.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes,
so
yes. We know Big Crit.
Come on, y'all know what's going on. So on the relationship with Crit, his younger brother and my manager now, John Griggs, they were managing me. That's actually how I met Willpower when they was working on Big Crit's album.
Wow.
And at that time, I kind of was just, like I say, working with who I could work with, saving my money, going to the studio. Crit worked on my first album, like he produced and wrote on that. So I've always kind of been blessed in terms of being able to be around people who knew something and could kind of push me in the direction to not give me too much to where it's a handout, but enough to keep me hungry. You know what I mean? So that's how I met Will, in the studio with Crit, played him some records, ended up never seeing Will for like 2 years. And then he started building the studio. Yeah, ran into him and he found out I wasn't signed yet. And he was just like, what you doing right now? I'm like, looking for guidance. And he was like, come on, I got you. So yeah, that's how that happened.
Timing is key. We were saying this yesterday. Me and Willpower were talking about it. Timing is key with everything, you know? And, and with that whole, again, with just being genuine and doing what you love, and it just flowed for you. Because look, yo, I hear opening acts today don't get paid. You were getting paid at 16.
Nah, that's real. I think that kind of spoiled me though, because at 24, I'm like, nah, I need some cheese or something. I can't, you know what I'm saying? But nah, for real, I'm humbled at how I was able to get my start in this. It was it still is, extremely humble beginning. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what created the character that I have. That's what created the humility, for lack of better words, man. So I'm grateful for it all. Yeah.
True, inspiring beginning, a motivating beginning to hear that. You know, I can only see why you ended up here today. So now your writing process. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so writing process for me is very honest, very transparent, very genuine. What I do now is I've gotten to a point where I come in here and either I dealt with something the day before or I'm dealing with something and I figure out ways to tap into, or the beat is jamming and I try to really listen to the music and feel out exactly what it is that I can take away from that. Go lay some of my dopest melodies that I have inside of my DNA. And then we go back and revisit and try to come up with topics, man. And like I say, in terms of me writing the topics and concept for the records, I just try to remain as genuine as possible, asking myself throughout the process, can other people relate to this? Is this evoking emotion? Would this phrase bring out a little more than this one? You know what I mean? So it's very intentional, I say, but free at the same time.
I love that. That intention is so, intention and passion are two things. I say, when a kid hits you, you be like, oh, he didn't do it on purpose. If we lived with that mentality, like do it on purpose.
Come on.
On purpose. You know what that's intention right there, right?
That's good. Yeah.
I feel like, oh my God, we would all really be somewhere. Just the other day too, I was telling a friend of mine, I said, why were we told the world doesn't revolve around us? Because think about it. I only know what's in my world.
Exactly.
So it kind of does revolve around me. And if I could look at it like that, I would try to understand that around me.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that answers your question. Also, I think that's why they didn't teach us that. Because us realizing that we have our own world to revolve around would kind of cease us revolving so much around the world that they created for us. You know what I mean? So keep telling people that, evoke that thought process, because that's dope. I think we got to think about that though, for real. Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. All right. So now the pandemic, did it put a little... No, as a matter of fact, it didn't. But okay. Let's get into the pandemic. But we already said it in the beginning of the interview. We already said he came for 2020 the way 2020 came for us.
I gave him a couple jabs. Nah, look. So shout out to the universe, man, to the Most High. I would say if it wasn't for us deciding to stick to releasing 52 records, the pandemic would have shook me up.
Say that again. 52 records in 52. A year.
Come on. Come on, nah.
And the year's
If
not
it
even
wasn't,
done. Like the
we
date
ain't
right now,
done.
we're not even done.
We ain't done. Nah, for real though. But yeah, I think sticking to that commitment. Shout out to my team. Shout out to Willpower and everybody who was a part of that. I'm a performer. I'm a real entertainer. I live for energy from people, from being on stage and being able to give that and then receive it simultaneously. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the pandemic, not just me, all artists, that it put a halt to that. We were no longer able to connect with people in that organic fashion. Now it had to be more of a virtual thing, which is cool. But for me, like I say, I connect more when I can feel you. Not even if it's not physically touching the hands, but getting that energy back from a crowd of people, you know?
Yeah.
So committing to the 52 kept me busy. It kept me busy and it kept me inspired. It made me, because I had to drop 52 songs, they couldn't all be sad records. So it gave me a reason to find positive outlooks on things, you know what I mean, in the midst of all of the shit that we was going through. So the pandemic, it did what it did, but like I say, if it wasn't for us deciding last year that we was gonna do this, I don't know what I would be doing right now, honestly. So yeah.
That's so fire. I mean, and let's be clear, he does R&B because we didn't speak about like what genre.
Come on.
Oh my goodness, we need R&B to come back. Like I'm about
Come
to
on.
cry.
Come on.
And I mean,
bringing
and
it back.
we have our summer, we have Summer Water, right? Wait, Summer
Walker.
Summer Walker. We have her, we have Janae, we have, you know, we have a few ladies killing it out there for us. But at the same time, we need the R&B, man. So what do you feel about R&B? What do you feel about where it's at right now and your music right now and putting it out?
I have to say, in terms of the climate of R&B, I think it's alive. I think it's not trendy. I think it's not trendy.
Good way to put it. Good way to put it.
You know what I'm saying? Because as an R&B artist, I search for R&B.
That's right.
So I'm like, I know that there are R&B artists that are out here doing it in a fashion, but like I say, people push trends to the forefront. And right,
the times we're in, right? We can't, maybe they don't call it R&B now. It doesn't sound the way the Boys to Men and the Aaliyah sounded back then, but you know?
And I'll even say, no, speaking to that though, I know people who are making that. I really do. I know people that are making that, including myself. And I just think if they're major artists, the companies, like I say, it's not trendy. So the young kids aren't running to that. So it's like the companies aren't putting real money to provide these artists with exposure so people can know that they do exist outside of the people who are like so much of R&B fans that they're like going looking for these artists. These are the people who doing like the venues at like 300 to 500, maybe 1,000. So it's like they're popular, but not to the point to where even a Janae. But like I love the Ari Lennox, the Sirs.
Oh my God, yes.
You know what I mean? The Aaron Rays.
That's another one I missed. That's right.
Yeah, it's people out here doing it. I just think we have to figure out a way to make the culture fuck with us again. Because what happened was, so this is how I see it. Historically, the narrative has switched. R&B was popular when guys being respectful, like we had songs about sex, but we was begging for our women. We was like crying on the records and shit. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's like
true.
That's not cool to do for a man. It's like, what? Tighten up. We don't do that. It's more trendy for us to like belittle and downgrade y'all so much now to where that's even what the women want. It's like, if you ain't calling me a bitch or a hoe, you ain't no real nigga, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, guys aren't real enough to be able to have a conversation with themselves, but like, what about my daughters? Am I cool with everybody else addressing them like that? So where's the music that addresses my daughter this way? You know what I mean? And I feel like it's kind of contradictory to kind of champion one and not champion the other. Because I think there's space for it all to exist, like trap soul, R&B, begging, love making music. There's a space for it all. I just think it's important that we as a people, we have to culturally put it back into play, if that makes sense.
You make perfect sense. I really love your whole outlook on everything. I love the way you put that. And it's so true. It's so true.
No, thank you. Yeah. So for me, I feel like the Most High or God, whatever you want to call him, I feel like that's love, and love is unconditional acceptance. For me as an artist, as a writer, I want to make sure that I'm implementing that in my music, man. So in terms of how I feel about it, I want to be like this new image of the heterosexual male who makes it okay to be a dude that feels shit, right? So you know what I mean?
That's one of my favorite things right now. The fact that I feel like we live in this world that it's about the money, it's about the bling, it's about, well, where's the passion? Which is exactly why I started these interviews.
Come on.
Exactly why I'm asking, where did the love for what you're doing start? Let's talk about love. Let's talk about, yo, I love what you do. If you know, for two men to actually say, yo, I bring it back to that DMX and Snoop Dogg versus.
Yeah.
And they were both saying, yo, I love that track. Just that love, we don't need enough of that right now, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of rappers dying. There's a lot of negativity going on. And it's because of that whole idea of you can't just say, yo, I love what you do, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna tell you on that side, we can still bang.
Yeah. I think the fact it's what you're saying, bro. People have to make room for the conversation, because what the conversation does is create awareness.
That's right.
So if all you going through, when you go through your day, when you get on your phone, all you see is what you see, most of that is not this. So it's like the average person isn't even aware of the thought process or aware of the ideas so that they can have a thought process about it to form something different. You know what I mean? So thank you for actually having whatever it is on you in your heart, your desire to want to see more real shit, you know, to create these spaces so that people can gain the understanding, you know? So yeah,
it's just my genuine way of being. Like, there's not, we don't all start at the 100K followers, you know what I'm saying, and the likes. And no, what makes you every day get up, even when there's 5 likes, even when there's 2 views, even that's real. The footwork is not, yo, even for the one night and the you become a sensation overnight, that overnight thing, they even had a few nights before that overnight happened.
Come on, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta acknowledge that. We gotta make it more realistic for those who are out there struggling and working. The mental health is where it's at right now because of this.
That's real, bro.
We're not talking enough about love. We're not singing songs. You know, there's not songs that I could just cry to and feel emotional and then shape up and put the stallion on and put the, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like balance, there's a time and a place for exactly that balance.
Exactly.
The balance. So, I mean, with all the work you've done, because I've seen a list of, well, Yellow Wolf, I've seen Eminem. Please talk to me about this.
My willpower. That's Will.
So that's Will. So all his kind of music. Okay.
Hey, yo, Will the GOAT. He trying to keep
already spoke to Will yesterday. Oh, he's there. He's not trying to say hi.
He just walked in the room now. He's smiling. Here you go.
So I mean, where he at? So working with somebody like that, you know, he's so humble. I mean, I'm like, dude, this is a true honor. And he's like, wouldn't say that, but yeah. And I'm like, no way, you know, with the fact, yo, I told him, first of all, Yellow Wolf was an era.
Come on, man.
Bruh.
Come on now.
Like that.
Trump music. Trump music.
So you got someone so dope behind you, his whole genuine way of being, the fact that the studio, you know, he spoke to me about the studio and I was like, what, you built a frat house over there? Talking about it's a studio and a record label? Like that's, you know, that's that brotherly love type of, before I groom you, before I, that's beautiful.
Nah, it's amazing, man. So willpower, he don't like when I talk about him like this, man. But the truth is, he probably one of the most amazing human beings I have ever met. And I would say, just to give you a few reasons, man, like I grew up without a pops. My pops passed when I was 7 years old.
Oh, God bless. My mom too, at that same age.
Nah, respect.
Same to you.
So, Will, this is obviously a business. And for him to be in a position running a business, the objective, for the most part, is to find someone who you can invest in, but bring back your money, right? But for him, it stretches so much deeper than that. You know what I mean? He cared about me as a person. Like we did business and we handle business on the everyday, but he cared about me as a person. You know what I mean? He cared about how my career go, even if he's no longer a part of that equation. Like he cares genuinely, bro, and he shows it, man. And I honestly couldn't. It's far more than someone that I work for or work with. It's like family. It's like family, which makes me creating for or with him that much easier. And I'm appreciative of the experience every time, because I'm around him every day, but I still get to see the plaques when I come in here. So it's not like you're not just a regular person to me, man. You know what I mean? It's an honor and a privilege every day to share spaces with this man.
And what makes it even more, and what makes it even more honoring is, or honorable, is the fact that he's meeting you there. He's so down to earth, even with the plaques up, even with working with someone. You know what I'm saying? He's so down to earth that it's like, makes it so, exactly what you said, making it so much easier, you know, to keep that motivation in you going. It's not forced.
Come on, at all.
I mean, hello, who could drop 52 songs?
Come on. Come on, nah, for sure. I definitely couldn't have done it without Will and the team, man. For real, for real.
Wow, Josh, I am so excited for what's to come. I'm like, oh, tell me what's next though. Give you a little bit of, give us a little bit. You just dropped one, right? You just dropped the number 51, I think.
It's coming out at midnight. 51 comes out.
Boom. Okay.
Crazy to me. That's crazy. But yeah, 51 comes out. So I'm actually about to dig extremely deep into my writing bag right now. So that's what's on my list right now. Writing, and more writing for other artists, man. And then after that, we're getting ready to go into album mode at the top of the year. So I'm excited about that. I think 52 is really, really dope. But it's been a minute since I've been able to focus on one concept, focus on one idea, and really stretch that out. So that's what's next, bro. Album and more content, more music.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And, about the whole virtual thing, the fact that now everything is more virtual, and it doesn't seem like you're letting it stop you. And when it comes to that bond and that, I said that too. I said, for me to interview somebody, there's nothing like when somebody walks into that presence they bring in, when you're sitting there and you're actually conversating. But this kind of forced us, what you were saying earlier, this kind of forced us to find that. And like, you know, we're still finding that energy right now. We laughed. I felt like, you know, we've had such a good time in this half an hour, you know what I'm saying?
That's real.
I feel like I'm sitting with you, you know?
But
again, it had to force us to put us in that mentality to say, it's not about things not being, it's not about the norm. It's not, because the norm is what we're used to doing, right?
Exactly.
You know? So there's just new times and new ways. Because for me, the internet too, I feel like people are finally using the internet for what it was made for.
Exactly. You know? I definitely agree with that. That's one thing about us as humans, man. Like, we're gonna find, I just gave this example, but we like water for the most part, you know?
I said it yesterday, Will. You hear this? Energy don't lie.
Yeah, man. So it's like, yo, y'all try to put us in the box and we figure out how to throw a party in the box.
Right.
Like, we figure out how to adapt. So yeah, I'm extremely grateful, bro, and I'm looking forward to see what new ways we come up with in terms of being able to interact with people and connect with people this year coming up.
I'm so excited for you, man.
Yeah.
You got it all. You know how to hold a conversation. You got it all. I'm super
I appreciate
excited.
that, man.
Yo,
I appreciate it.
A true blessing. Willpower, giving that willpower everywhere he goes.
Come on.
Oh my God. Yo, a true honor, guys. And please, when that album drops, please come my way. I want to link you with everything that I'm doing. And hopefully time's a little better and we'll get to meet each other in person.
No, of course. We'll set it up. I'll talk to Will about it and we'll definitely get in cahoots.
Yo, I would even love to go over there and get a feel of that. You know, get a feel of home, the studio. I would really
come on.
love.
What, you in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll talk to Will. We'll try to get it figured out for sure.
Yes, you guys are awesome, man. Again, Josh Waters.
Yes, ma'am.
You're bomb. God
Respect.
bless. Good
Nah,
luck.
blessings. Have a blessed one. I'm about to follow you on Instagram so I can
Yes,
keep up
let's
with
do
you.
that. Let's do all that.
All right, there it
Yo,
is. Have a
Will,
blessed
don't
one,
get
love.
lost. Stay love, 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 love always. Bye, guys.
All right.
Later, love.
All right.